Welcome back to the Hat House, guys. Appreciate you tuning back in. Today's video is all about WhatNot and can you make $200 in just an hour of sourcing from WhatNot? So let's get to the garage and find out. All right, guys, I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about sourcing. I keep getting the question all the time, how do we source hats? So I went on WhatNot. I hadn't been there in a while. Went back on WhatNot a couple of weeks ago, and I got some hats from a great seller. He's always selling vintage stuff. His name was Vintage Trap House on WhatNot. I asked him if I could shout him out. He said that was fine. He usually has good stuff, and he had great hats in this lot. Some of them I didn't buy. They ended up going for too much. And one thing you want to be on the lookout for when you're in the WhatNot auctions is how many other bidders are there? And a lot of times there's obviously people that know the hats that are in there. They're bidding up things. So you have to be really selective. Okay, I just wanted to take a second and clarify what I meant right here by selective. You have about 20 seconds to figure out how much do you think this hat is even going to sell for. So you have to make that decision quickly, but I would make the decision just based on the knowledge that you have and the items that you've sold before. If you've never sold them, you got to spend some time in the comps knowing exactly what hats are going to sell for. I probably failed on a few of these items that you'll see, but being selective is basically just knowing your market, knowing your niche, and knowing how much this hat's going to sell for before you even buy it. All right, so what I got is a box of $81 of hats. There's about 14 hats in here, and that comes out to around $5.75 a hat. If you add taxes and shipping, it probably comes a little closer to $6 a hat. But let's take a look at what I got. Like I said, when you're in these auctions, you're really up against other bidders. And some of these hats I paid like $2 for. A few of them I ended up paying like $10 for. And I'll show you kind of up on the screen some of the prices that I expect to get for the hats. Some of them are with comps. Some of them are items that are already listed. Some of them don't have a specific comp. And so it's just kind of knowing your market and what you can get for a hat. The first hat I got was probably my least favorite one, actually. So let's start off with a bang. It was just a Liberty Seed hat. It was just a vintage Liberty Seed regular snapback hat. This is probably the one I'll get the least amount of money for. I'm pretty sure I paid around $2 for it, but we are going on the average, so it'd be $6. I expect to get about $15 for that one. The next one is the one I took a shot on, and I really like this hat. This is Star Kid. It's a movie from the 90s. It's not a very well known movie. When you're in the auction, you have 20 seconds to make a decision on whether you're going to pull the trigger. You don't always have time to look up the comps or go to eBay and see if there's one on there. So I took a shot on this one. There is one on eBay, not in as good condition as mine. It's priced for around $25 to $26 right now. But I thought Star Kid, somebody might buy that even if it's not for the movie. And I thought sometimes the movie hats can be 40, 50 to hundreds of dollars of hats for old movie hats. And this one was really cool, really great condition. I expect to get around 25 to 30. Next was just an Atlanta Braves fitted. It was vintage. It was size 7 3/8, so a good size. The only negative really is the regular colorway. I would still expect to get between $20 to $25 for this hat as well. It was really, the white in it is awesome. It is from the late 90s, so really good, and it's wool, so really good hat right here. Next up, I couldn't find an exact comp for this one either. There weren't any red Union Pacific hats, but usually the railroad hats do pretty well. This one was in great condition. It'll probably sell around the $20 range. Next, I always pick up a good corduroy hat, and this one was aviation. Couldn't find an exact one like this on eBay, but I would expect between $20 to $25 for this one as well, for a nice corduroy hat. And somebody may be looking for that exact Meredith aviation hat, and they may spend up to $30 for it. Good corduroy hats always do really well. Next up was a vintage 1997 national champions Minnesota Gophers. So this one was in great condition as well, super clean. These national championship hats are usually really collectible. People usually don't even buy them to wear them. A lot of times they just use them to put up in their room or for decoration. And these do really well. Couldn't find one like this on eBay either. So most of the time, these types of hats sell between 20 or 30. I might price this one up a little bit more just to see if anybody bites, but I'd probably take in the 20 to 30 range for it. Next up was this Air Force Vandenberg Air Force Base. It was a really cool hat. It is vintage and is super clean. Just the regular, you can tell it's vintage by the tag in here, and it had the Made in USA snap on it. And I just really like the shape of this one. I think this one will do really well. And a lot of times on hats, you just cannot find an exact comp for it. And you kind of have to know the hat that you bought, how well you think it'll do. I still think this is a $20 to $30 hat. A lot of the regular Air Force hats sell between 10 and 20. But I think this one is a lot cooler. And if somebody finds somebody looking for some Vandenberg Air Force Base, they will pay up for this hat. All right, next up was this Lyondell lubricants. The only reason that I bid on this one, and I'm sure I didn't bid more than $2 or $3, was because it was a rope hat. Usually these screen printed trucker hats don't do more than $10 or $15. But I went ahead and bought this one because it was white. It's hard to find white, and it was vintage, and it had the rope on it. So I would expect $10 to $15. Next up, we had a Cabela's. This was a really nice Cabela's hunting hat. I think it will do well between $20 to $30. The lining on it was in great condition. This is almost dead stock condition for this Cabela's hat. Camo does awesome. It's hunting time right now. I need to get it listed quickly, but still, any time of year, especially in the winter, these lined hats do really well. I think this one will sell between 20 and 30. And of course, I couldn't turn down the Harley hat for around $6. It was a little more dirty on the inside. Gonna have to do a little bit of cleaning on this one. Still was a good size, 7.25, New Era Harley Davidson. These sell in the 20 to 30 range as well. This one is wool. Needs some cleaning, but I think we can get it looking good. Next up was a Subaru hat, and I just know from selling that Subaru stuff sells really well. I won't put this one on eBay probably. I'll probably put this one on Depop just because it doesn't look like it's officially licensed, but it is really old and it is a vintage Subaru hat in great condition. I would expect between $20 and $30 on this hat as well. Subaru and car hats, the buyers are out there for this type of stuff. Next up, I did get another fitted hat, and I will say the fitted hats on WhatNot, you can usually score at a lot better prices. The customer there really wants the snapbacks, the vintage snapbacks, so some of the good fitted hats just go without bids on them, and I can pick them up for a pretty good price. Especially this one is a vintage New York Mets, size 7 and 5/8. Awesome size, my size. I might keep it, but probably not. It's really nice though. It's black and blue. This colorway, people really love this black and blue colorway, and it being vintage and just a little bit of yellowing, but not much. I'm going to guess between 30 to 40. I'll have to see exactly what the comps are out there. Definitely not less than $20. It already has a great curve on the bill as well. It's a really nice hat once I find the buyer looking for 7 and 5/8. All right, next up was just knowing that this Hawaiian print sells for $20 easy, really no matter what it says on here. And if it says something cool, you can get closer to 30 or maybe more. This one was Possums Unlimited Arcadia. I would probably say it's a $20 to $30 hat. It is on the Sansun tag. It is pretty clean. Needs a little bit of cleaning, but really good condition. Hawaiian hats do really well, and it has the rope. Definitely a $20 to $30 hat right here. And then last up, the fitted hat went through again for a pretty cheap price, so I just picked it up. I tell you guys about Apparel One, made in USA. These hats do really well. The size on this one was 7.5 as well. So a good size. I wouldn't be buying size 7 hats, but 7.5, 7 3/8, 7 5/8. I'll pick them up. Had a really cool side hit on it. Vintage fitted hat. I might have to wait a while on this one, but I still think it would be in the 20 to 30 range. If it was a snapback, of course, it would probably be a little bit more, but this one was super clean, and I think I got a pretty good deal. All right, guys, let's head inside to the computer and we'll punch in all these numbers and we'll see what I turned $80 into. All right, guys, let's dig into the numbers here. So I wrote down every single hat that we sourced, and then it came up to about $84 total, with the $6 each I paid for the hats. My total list amount was around $474 right here. And then my expected sales, I put in a little bit lower, of course. I'm going to send out some coupons on these. I'm going to take best offers. I'm going to expect around $310 in total sales. Now, this does not include my shipping charge. Of course, on every hat, I charge $5.95 shipping, which covers the box, that's 50 cents, and it covers the label, that's between $4 and $4.50 typically to send out one hat. And then the extra dollar really just goes to the fees that you pay 10% on the total sale. If I had a total sale of $30, then it would be about $3 in fees. So I would still owe a little bit on fees, but it helps cover some of that. And with that said, 310 minus the 84 what I paid for them gives us a total expected profit around $200 to $226 after you take out the fees and any variation that we might have in what we actually sold it for.